In this episode, how long should I do it for? That's what she said. I've been waiting to do that for 615 episodes.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testicles. Welcome everyone to episode 615 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gaincast, mancast, nipplecast, and testiclecast. Come on, we knew that from the start. In the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. So put them up and grunt like a man gorilla that you are. And if you're a female, you could be a female man gorilla just for the day. You'll be an honorable monkey just for now, whenever you are here with old Papa Swole. So welcome to episode 615, everyone. Hello. What's up, Bonnell, J Cliffs on Instagram. So we're live, folks, on Instagram and Facebook at Swolenormous. And those of you that are listening to the podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes, remember, every single episode you can catch on SoundCloud or iTunes, so you can you can watch with your fucking ears. Nice job, Papa Swole. You can listen with your ear holes, so you can get knowledge raped in your ears every day for the Daily Swole, so you can listen. So SoundCloud, iTunes, at Swolenormous, just type in Daily Swole, and you shall find Papa Swole. Oh, so what up? So spread the word. Tell those that you care and love, those closest to you, that Papa Swole is raging daily at the noontime, Eastern, 12 noon every day. What's going on, Moyen, Jessica, Michael, Bastian, Sweetness, Kath on Instagram? Yes, we are double live. So today's episode is how long should I work out for? How long should I? How long is good? How long is best? And honestly, that's what she said. And I've been waiting for that. I even have it on the board. That's what she said. I've been waiting to do that for 615 episodes. That's the only reason I started the Daily Swole, was for that joke at that moment. So I'm done. The last official broadcast is right now. Isn't that exciting? You were all here at the culmination of it all. Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm not going anywhere. But I got my coffee and we're on full blast. So ask your questions. Going to be taking a bunch of them today. So how long should you be working out for? And this comes down to what I use, and those of you that have done the 90-day dash, you're familiar with this principle, and it's the EVT principle. And the EVT principle is experience, volume, and time. So I use this approach when I'm discussing it with new members, when I'm discussing it with anyone that asks me this question. It comes down to experience, volume, and time with how long you're going to work out. So how long you're working out can be determined by either of those two things, and let me explain. Based on how long you've been training, how much experience. I am very experienced. If you've never worked out before, you would be not experienced at all. So that will determine how many reps and how many sets you're going to be doing. If you've never worked out before and you do my workout, you're going to be in a coma and you're going to have to be driven to the hospital to get your muscles drained because you're going to have compartment syndrome because you tried to keep up with old Papa Swole on your first day. That's like just being a fitness virgin, okay? You don't want to do that. You would not do that. Now, when it comes to volume is sets times repetitions. If you are more experienced, for example, like I already said, kind of just relates to the experience a little bit. If you are on my level, you'll be doing more volume. You'll do more sets. You'll do more repetitions overall because your body can handle that kind of overload. And that's why bodybuilders segment their body parts. That's why bodybuilders come with the approach of doing chest on one day or chest and back on one day or legs on another day, because when you have more time dedicated to one muscle or one muscle group, you can do more volume, you can cause more damage, you can cause more of a hypertrophic response and thus potentially build more muscle, in combined with your rest, recovery, and nutrition. So when you have more volume, and that's going to take more time in terms of length of a workout. And the EVT, the third one is time. The third one is time available. So you have experience, novice or advanced or intermediate. You have volume, how much you're going to be doing based on that experience, and then the time section itself. And of course, we're talking about now how long should you work out for, but that's going to be determined by those things. If you're advanced and you have more experience and you do more volume, it's going to take up more time depending on your rest periods between each set, but you're going to be working out for longer because you'll do more. But also, how much time do you have to work out? I think we default automatically, and people default automatically when they ask me that question. They default automatically to how long should I work out, as if time is the determining factor when it comes down to experience and the volume and the goal that you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to be a professional bodybuilder, but you only have half an hour to work out, it's going to be very challenging because you just simply do not have the time per workout to really overload the muscles enough to stimulate that much growth to compete at that level for most people. There are always those genetic freaks and those unique situations, but no one works out for half an hour if they're trying to compete at a high level. That just makes sense, right? LeBron James doesn't practice for half an hour if he wants to become the best player in history, so to speak. So you get out what you put in. Doesn't mean that longer is always better, but it means that if you want to overload, you need time to overload. And if you're working out for 10 minutes, doing like a 10-minute quick shred, you're not going to fucking get huge. There's not enough time to put the stress on the muscle, right? So how long do you have to work out? Now, comment below on Instagram and Facebook. Comment below how long you work out for, because I'm curious how long you actually work out for, and then we can put that into some context. So do you work out for an hour? Do you work out for half an hour? Do you work out for 2 hours? And now there's way too long in the gym too. If you're working out for 2 hours, you're wasting time. If you're working out for 2 hours, you're doing something wrong, or you're adding in extra things. You're adding in your warm-up and your cool down as part of that, workout. Like, when I say workout, I don't mean the time you walked into the gym, you spent time in the sauna, you took a shower, you did 20 minutes on the elliptical to warm up or something. I'm talking about how long your workout is. I'm not counting the warm-up or the cool down or the time you spend talking to that front desk girl or something like that, okay? I'm talking about literally the time of your active training, your active workout, all right? So I really do think the sweet spot, generally, if I were to give a flat answer, because not everyone's the same because of the EVT principle, it's about an hour. About an hour. An hour will give you more than enough time to get what you need done. It will be good for a beginner because then you can take your time and pace yourself and not do too much and rest longer between sets and just, you don't have to rush. I find that an hour is a good time. You don't have to rush. You don't have to, you can specify a body part. You could do total body. You just have time to do a variety of things. So about an hour. But if you did go an hour and a half, or you didn't have time much one day and you only had half an hour, it doesn't mean you're not going to get results. Remember that these things that we're trying to accomplish, we're trying to lose fat over the long term, we're trying to build muscle over the long term, then you're not going to get all in one workout. So if you're nailing it and you're doing an hour, let's say an hour and 15 minutes every day, but then one day you have a scheduling change and you only have half an hour, you can still go and crush your workout. It's not going to ruin everything else you're doing. All of a sudden, you're like, I'm going to get tiny because I only worked out for half an hour. No, it's like a little bump in the road, and it might not be the same amount of volume, but then you get back on the pony and you go back to doing your training the way you were before. So that one workout on an individual basis is not going to make much of a difference, but you have to be realistic. So if you want, if you have lofty goals, I'll take some questions in a second. If you have lofty goals with your training and hypertrophy, you do need to leave significant amount of time to train. You need an hour or so to provide that volume for your total body based on your experience. But you have to be realistic too. If you only have, let's say you're really busy, you have 2 jobs, 3 kids, blah, 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 and you literally, even with optimal time management, you only have half an hour. You only have half an hour to work out. You have to be realistic with your goals. And I think that's where there's a disconnect too. You have to be realistic with the time that you have to put in or the time that you actually do put in. What goals are realistic as a result? So if you think you're going to stand on the Mr. Olympia stage and you're going to train for 20 minutes every other day, you're out of your fucking mind. It'll never happen. So you have to be realistic with the time that you can put into it. And then you have to optimize that time. So of course there's other aspects to this, but when it comes to how long you should train, it shouldn't be exceptionally long. It shouldn't be 2 hours. It shouldn't be 3 hours because then your cortisol levels are really high and your body really starts going into a catabolic state far beyond what's necessary. And there's really no need to do 2 or 3 hours for resistance training. If you're doing 2 or 3 hours, you're resting too long, or you're just doing too much and it's not going to be effective anymore. Or you're including the warm up, the cool down, the time it took you to drive to the gym. Like if you left at 2 and you got to the gym at 2:30, and then you warmed up and you talked to one of your friends you saw at the gym, you start training, you start warming up and stretching at 3, you start your workout at 3:15, you finish up at around 4, and then you shower and you get home at 5. That's not a 3-hour fucking workout. You were busy from 2 to 5 with gym related activities, but you weren't working out for 3 hours. And I know some people, I have these conversations and people are including all these different aspects of their warm up. Like so make sure that you're talking about the actual active, the workout. Like, okay, first set, here we go. Let's take some questions. How long do you all work out for? DC5 Antoine on Instagram, 1 to 1.5 hours. 1.5. I saw a couple training biceps, no triceps for over 2 hours in the gym. Yeah, and you know what's funny is that usually those people that train, let's say biceps for 2 hours, they don't have biceps. Those people that do it right don't work out as long usually as those that don't know what they're doing. Because if you're training properly, and those you might know this in Swolenormous X, I did the virtual trainer that trained with me. You rest like 30 seconds to a minute. You get so much done in a short period of time. You could do like 20, 30 sets in an hour if you're doing 30, 40, 60 seconds rest. 60 minutes of lifting, you lay 1 to 1.5 hours. Like those are good time frames. I mean, everyone has their own, you have to find your own pace, what works best for you. Some people they feel growth, they see progress, and they have more casual workouts. They rest a minute or two between sets. They don't, if you find that you see progress and you're happy with that style of training, then do it. You're under no obligation to, cut your rest times in half, but if you're not seeing results and you're not happy and you bring this to my attention, I'm going to be tweaking some of these acute variables. And that's going to get you results, because a lot of times you're not seeing results because it's not working for you. You just don't realize what you need to change. Normally do Jason Butler on Facebook, 45 to 60 minutes, and I focus on a single muscle group. Emma Welty, 30 minutes to an hour, 1 to 1.5, 45 to 60 minutes, 1.5 to 2 hours. I always do 2.5 hours. Ernest, what are you doing for 2.5 hours, bruh? You rock climbing? You climbing Mount Everest? No, I'm just kidding. Pre-nap entertainment. Got to get my daily dose of Swolenormous. Hell yeah, Tyler. Yeah, so these are great questions. I love the feedback. So make sure you keep on dropping in the comments, even if you're not watching this live. Drop in the comments how long you work out for. And remember, the high-def video and audio will be available on Facebook and YouTube later today. So real good stuff. If you can only get 30 minutes in, consider it a rest day. Well, I mean, you can get a lot done. Don't get me wrong. I've had some of my best workouts in half an hour or 40 minutes because I had no time. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. And I cut my rest time to pretty much almost nothing, maybe 15, 20, 30 seconds. And I was pumped. I was sweating. It was a great workout. Now, I wouldn't do that regularly in order to bulk and get the results I want, but still get a hell of a workout in a short period of time. But I really do feel that if you're more advanced, you should be doing that. If you're more advanced, you should be looking to kind of streamline your workouts a little bit more and find that white space in your actual training and find those little places that you can tweak and that you can adjust to get a little bit more out of what you're already doing. So instead of just doing more weight and trying to load more weight on the bar or doing more sets, well, why don't you take what you're already doing, cut down the rest periods, and increase the intensity that way, and then reap the benefits from that. Michael Folks, training takes me 1.5 to 2 hours. Training for strength versus bodybuilding simply takes longer. And the reason why strength training takes longer is because the recovery between sets and the ATP, your body's energy source, replenishes about really in 1 to 2 minutes, it only replenishes about 50%. So if you want full recovery and you want full energy repletion and regeneration, it takes about 3 to 5 minutes. But that's not to say that you need, and that's the difference between strength and muscle size, that when you're waiting 3 to 5 minutes, you might replenish all your ATP, but it also takes away from your body's, the response from your body to build muscle, from hypertrophy. So the longer you rest, you might have more for strength, but it will not stimulate the same type of hypertrophy response in your body if you're looking to build the most muscle. So, but that's good. But that's, yeah, Michael, that's a specific type of training. So that's, your experience is high. if you're doing strength training like that. So that's where it still comes back to my EVT principle, that your experience is high, so your volume will adjust and the time spent in the gym will adjust as well because your goal is specific. But if you're looking to lose weight, and a lot of you are just asking, basics, like you want to lose weight, I want to build muscle, I want to, get in better shape, I want to, get this train on the fucking tracks and get it rolling, but where do I start? How long should I work out for? And I usually say, well, you have to use that from two angles. You need to go at it. Now, I'll say this in closing. You need to go at it from the experience and the volume angle to calculate your time, essentially, or see how long it would take you. But you also have to start from the area of thinking about how much time do you have, and can I get what I need to get done in that time period? So like I said, let's say you have high experience and you're going to do a lot of volume, but you only have half an hour, like you really only have half an hour. You have to be realistic with what you can actually get done in that time. So if your schedule is restrictive, you have to be realistic about your goals, and you might have to temper your goals a little bit and reformulate them and make them more realistic because of your personal situation. So thank you, everyone, for the questions. Love it. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Remember, if you do not have post notifications on Instagram or Facebook, make sure you turn the post notifications on. A couple updates in the community. Swolenormous X tonight. Brand new nutrition workshop on inflammatory foods live in Swolenormous X. I will be launching that tonight, probably around 8 or 9 o'clock. So Swolenormous X members, you have that coming. This podcast will be up on SoundCloud and iTunes real soon. And of course, the HD video will be available later. So make sure you turn your post notifications on. Triple dots at the top of Instagram, and in the post description, or actually on my page on Facebook, you could adjust the post notifications. But please drop in the comments if you have any other questions, follow-ups on this topic, your volume. And I will see you all for episode 616 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, and Coffeecast. Now I get to dip into this luscious creaminess in the realm, because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a wonderful Thursday. Peace, McGee's, Deuce Magoose fam. Papa Swolio out.